Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe, if you dare. Follow your local news and police reports vigorously. Hey everybody, welcome to ANECDOSED. People ask Reddit. Burglars of Reddit, what are the best ways to keep you out of my house? Number 1. I spent a year and a half in prison after being convicted of multiple residential burglaries. I was caught after a mailman called 911 after seeing me go through a window. I had a pretty good run of burglaries from 2007 to 2008 and haven't done any in 7 years, so technology and times have changed since my spree. Here's how I pick my houses. 1. I would generally only go in the daytime during the week. The idea was for the adults to be at work and the kids at school. 2. I would try to find a corner house because it would have, at least, one side with no neighbors. 3. I went in middle-class neighborhoods close to a community college. I live in a large US city and needed an excuse to be in my late 20s walking around with a backpack. I would stand out too much in wealthy neighborhoods, and poorer neighborhoods often have bars on windows because they expect to be robbed. Middle-class people seem to be careless. I often went in through an unlocked back door. Interestingly enough, I never went through a front door. I would always go to the back or side because any fences would provide coverage. 4. People think a large dog would be a good deterrent, but I generally avoided those annoying small yapping dogs that never shut up. 5. I often went through a bedroom window, whether it was unlocked or not. I'm committing a major felony. I didn't care about a broken window. 6. I usually went straight to the master bedroom because that's where the good stuff was. Things a homeowner can do, besides armed guards around the clock. 1. Get a dog that doesn't like strangers. I don't care if it's big or small or threatening or friendly. As soon as one dog barks, the whole neighborhood starts barking and announcing a burglar's presence. 2. Cameras, inside and out. I knew a guy who was caught because he walked by someone's webcam inside their house and ended up on the news. Make the cameras visible. If I see a camera, I'm not just moving on to the next house, but I'm going several streets away. 3. Lock back fence and restrict access to backyard. That's generally where I broke into the house from. 4. Beware of dog and security alarm signs and stickers are completely worthless. I once broke into a house though a doggy door. There was no dog home. 5. Try not to have any stools or anything in the backyard. They make climbing through windows easier. Number 2. I grew up with a whole lot of thieving scumbags. Bank robbers, carjackers, etc. Here are my suggestions, in no particular order. Get a big effing dog. Very few thieves want to deal with that. If they aren't specifically targeting your house, then they will move on to the next one. For houses they are targeting, they will leave poison food outside. Keep an eye out for that. Don't use window air conditioners. This was by far the most common way to gain access by my friends. Kick in the AC and climb on in. If nothing of value is found, the AC could be taken in for scrap metal. Motion detecting lights. They are a minor annoyance. Will scare off the brainless junkies. Visible cameras. Can be fake. Though they're so cheap, just get real ones. Don't leave your garage door open. Thieves like to drive around nice neighborhoods, looking for people who left their garage open. They love a situation where someone might be mowing their backyard. Quickly hop out of the car, run into the garage, grab as many tools as they can, and run. If they brought a truck, they'll be grabbing bigger stuff. You probably won't even notice or know what happened. Make it a royal pain in the ass to get into your backyard. 10 feet fence would be nice. No one likes breaking in through the front door or front windows. No one likes scaling 10 feet fences either. This complements the get a big effing dog concept. Don't keep your car keys on a hook next to the front door. Newer cars are impossible for an average thief to hotwire. Easy as hell to kick in your front door and snatch the keys straight off the hook, though. Related to the above, don't answer the door for strangers. If thieves are casing out the neighborhood, they will pretend to be magazine salesmen, Jehovah's Witnesses and etc. just to take a peek of what's inside. Especially that hook for car keys. Once again, a big effing dog can help here. Get an alarm system. If you can't pony up for that, get the stickers and signage off eBay. Don't keep anything in your car. Especially work trucks and vans. Hell, I even know of someone who robbed a cop car. Keep your vehicles empty. Locks don't effing matter. The lock on the back door of a work van can be popped out in under 5 seconds with a slide puller and a screw. The locks on your house are effing useless, too. If you're really paranoid and have a good budget, steel door frame plus solid steel door. I don't have much of any other advice on that. Don't trust locks. Lock your doors. Even though I don't think much of locks, don't leave your house unlocked either. Deadbolts on every exterior door. Keep expensive stuff out of sight. Your 70 inches flat screen TV should not be visible from the street. Your MacBook Pro shouldn't be kept right in front of your first floor office window. Don't invite strangers over. Hosting an open invitation kegger is a terrible idea. If a thief shows up, they are either stealing something right then and there, or they are casing the place to come back later. If you have a safe, use it. It's utterly stupid how many people who have them just leave them open all the time because it's annoying. If you have guns, try to keep that information to yourself. There are whole subsets of thieves dedicated to scouting out gun owners and robbing them when they're not home. Don't post your entire social life publicly on social media. The people scouting out robberies aren't always across the street in a sketchy van. They're just following you on Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, and Instagram. Keep anything that is really expensive in a bank security box. If your grandmother passed on a $50,000 diamond ring to you, don't keep it in your jewelry box. Don't do illegal shit. The houses of drug dealers are robbed on a consistent basis, because the thieves know the cops won't get called. And the propensity for those victims to have expensive jewelry and electronics stay on the up and up, and a lot of trouble will avoid you. Leave the TV and lights on when you're not home. Not only does it give the impression someone is home, it also will entertain and comfort your big effing dog. If you're in an apartment, do whatever you can to add more locks, if possible according to your lease, alarm system, cameras, etc. Lots of shady maintenance man and landlords out there. Lock your patio door, even if you live on the 10th floor. Scaling the sides of most buildings is actually pretty effing easy. If you are prohibited from owning a big effing dog, a little annoying yip-yapping ankle-biting dog can work. Cats are effing useless. Keep the flaunting to a minimum. If you have an expensive vehicle, at least try to keep it in a garage. If you have lots of expensive tools, don't fly a Snap-on banner outside your garage. Don't put up a "This house is protected by Smith & Wesson" sign. Read up and be aware of how most popular scams work. Water meter scams, fence salesman scams, etc. Most of the time, someone will be distracting you somehow, while their accomplice sneaks into your house. Just don't talk to strangers and you will avoid all of them. Junkies love to rob the elderly. Medications and jewelry. Your broke college ass is probably safe, but please make sure your grandmother is all set. Don't leave an extra key under your doormat, under a rock, in your mailbox, on top of the door frame, etc. Also worth discussing are what to do when a burglar is in your house. Get the F out. Your PlayStation is not worth getting stabbed over. You will most likely lose any fights you start. Don't do that. Call the cops. Don't count on them to save you, but do it anyways. At the very least, you will most likely have to file a police report anyways for an insurance claim. The chambering of a shotgun generally scares the shit out of thieves. Real thieves will get the F out of there if they think someone has a gun. Junkies, though, might be too F up to notice. Or they might have their own and not care. Still best to get the F out. If there is no way to avoid an encounter with the robber, get naked. Not down to your underwear, I mean 100% naked. Get crazy. Yell things. This is not advised for attractive females, but for the average Redditor, it's a viable deterrent. The thief has a specific game plan in mind. They know how they're going to get in, where they plan to go, what they plan to take, where they plan to exit, and how they plan to leave. Anything that can be done that will majorly disrupt their plan, will generally make them leave ASAP. Mace. If you can't legally procure mace, sporting goods stores should carry bear spray. If you can't get that either for some reason, wasp/hornet spray. Again, I really can't stress this enough, goal number 1 is to get the F out. Don't bring wasp spray to a gunfight. If you have your keys on you, set off your car alarm. Number 3. And, lastly, just some general advice. Follow your local news and police reports vigorously. You should be able to get a feel for the types of crime happening in your area, and can figure out a game plan based on that. Personally, my area is high crime, but it's all smash and grab type thefts. While my vehicle has been robbed 3x in the past year, I have zero concern whatsoever that I will be the victim of an armed home invasion. It's just not the style for the area. If you have a choice, try to live in a moderately populated area, near a police station. Living at the end of an isolated cul-de-sac is going to be a lot easier for a thief to get into without being noticed than a townhome in a 100-unit property. Be friendly with your neighbors, to the point where they will recognize any sketchy activity. Keep your nose clean, and don't associate yourself with sketchy characters. Crime begets crime. It's callous for me to say, but really, 90% plus of the victims of crime that I know had it coming. Keep receipts for anything you paid more than $250 for, and keep them in a fireproof safe. If you do end up having to file an insurance claim, they are going to F you over hardcore without documentation. Be aware that for high-ticket items, they are required to be scheduled on your policy ahead of time. If you have a $15,000 home theater system, or $20,000 in collectible Magic TG cards, your insurance company needs to know about that ahead of time. Keep serial numbers and photos, if possible, of anything you care about. If your laptop gets stolen, and you see it the next day in the pawn shop down the street, it won't mean shit unless you have that serial number already on file somewhere. Register all of your products with the manufacturer whenever possible. You will have a hell of a time dealing with an automotive theft claim as the thief used your car keys. Keep those safe. Make copies of all your important documents, including copies of all your credit cards. It will be 100x easier to cancel all of them if a thief gets them. Shred any important documents you are throwing out. I could write endlessly about identity theft. I'll save that for another day. Big effing dog. Regularly back up your computer to some cloud-based service. Dropbox, Google Drive, etc. If someone steals your laptop, it shouldn't F up your life. Install some sort of tracking app on your computer and phone right now if you haven't already. Number 4. I once was visiting a female friend of mine who lived in a bit of a shitty neighborhood. At the time I was working construction and swung by after work. I got to the house and took my size 12 work boots off and left them on the front porch. I tend to carry a pair of flip-flops in my bag and changed into those, then we hit a patio for some sunshine beers. I ended up forgetting my boots at her place and was in no rush to get them back as I had another pair. Now I do not know how true this is, but she swears that having a pair of big work boots right by her front door made her safer. I had pretty much forgotten about them as they were on their way out, but she left them right where they were. She had less craziness happen in her front yard, less strangers knocking on her door, and she was not broken into again at that place. Of course it could have been the smell. When we moved my sister to an apartment years ago, the landlord was out while we were sitting on a moving van full of stuff. Friendly neighbor walked by, saw us and offered to let us in. He took a thin flathead screwdriver and in the kitchen window used it to pry open the flimsy turn lock, climb in and unlock the house. He then told her to put a nail through the window to seal it against burglars, since the units all came with AC anyways. Students as a rule are idiots when it comes to security, and the payoff is so great with all those laptops, phones and gadgets left lying around. No, they don't even care if you're home. They will break in anyway and take what they can get. Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.